12 habits seniors develop that quietly push people away. Eleanor Mitchell sat on a cushioned rocker in her Asheville, North Carolina bungalow, the Blue Ridge Mountains framing the horizon beyond her window. At 71, a retired school teacher, she'd spent decades as the heartbeat of her community, her warm smile and knack for storytelling drawing people close. Her living room, adorned with photos of family picnics and classroom triumphs, told of a life rich with connection. But lately, a quiet distance had crept in. It wasn't the gray in her hair or the slower gait. It was subtler. Habits she'd adopted without noticing, small behaviors that pushed loved ones away, dimmed her joy, and strained bonds she'd once cherished. This is Eleanor's story, woven through 12 habits that often sneak into aging, rarely whispered about but deeply felt. Set in the soulful rhythm of small-town America, her journey reveals how these habits take root and how to uproot them to age with purpose, grace, and unbreakable connection. 1. Becoming too negative or critical. Eleanor had always been candid, a trait honed over 30 years teaching fifth graders in Charlotte before retiring to Asheville's leafy streets. She saw herself as honest, not negative, her forthrightness a badge of authenticity. But as the years piled on, she sensed a shift. Mornings greeted her with aches, knees creaking like old floorboards, a stiff back protesting the climb from bed. She'd mutter, "Getting old's no picnic," dismissing it as harmless venting. Yet the grumbles grew, spilling into her days like ink on a blotter. At breakfast, the local news sparked complaints. Politics gone haywire, storms brewing, prices climbing. "The world's a mess," she'd sigh, her coffee cooling untouched. At Sunday dinners, her tone sharpened. "Kids today have no respect," she'd say, eyeing her grandson Ethan's phone with a frown, his earbuds a silent rebuke. She'd reminisce about her childhood, no screens, just baseball in the street, convinced things were better then. Her words felt true, rooted in experience, but she didn't see the shadow they cast. The change was slow, insidious. Her daughter Rachel started calling less, her voice clipped on the line. Friends at the community center dodged deeper chats, sticking to safe topics like the weather or the latest book club pick. Ethan, once eager to share soccer victories, grew quiet, his visits shorter. Eleanor hadn't noticed how her negativity weighed others down, like a damp fog settling over a picnic. No one wants to leave a conversation feeling drained, and her sharp edges were carving distance. Negativity is a seductive trap. Aging brings real frustrations, physical pain, a world spinning too fast, technology that feels like a foreign language. Venting seems like a release, a way to wrestle with change. But when complaints become your lens, they isolate you, turning connection into a battlefield. Eleanor felt the chill in her relationships, the way laughter faded from her table. She decided to act. She started small, inspired by a sermon at her church about gratitude's power. Instead of leading with gripes, she opened conversations with light. "The azaleas are bursting this spring," she'd say at the diner. Or, "I tried that apple pie recipe. It's a keeper." She set a mental timer, 2 minutes to vent, then pivot. Curiosity replaced judgment. When Ethan mentioned a new app, she asked, "What's cool about it?" His face lit up, words tumbling out about virtual worlds and strategy. Their talk stretched longer, filled with his laughter. The shift wasn't overnight. Old habits clung like ivy, but Eleanor persisted. She kept a journal, jotting down one good thing daily, a cardinal at her feeder, a neighbor's wave. Friends lingered again over coffee, drawn to her warmth. Rachel shared stories about her job, sensing a safer space. A 2020 Pew study found 70% of seniors report stronger ties when they focus on positive interactions. Eleanor felt it. Her home buzzed with chatter once more, her negativity replaced by a current of hope. She learned her energy shapes her world, and by choosing uplift over complaint, she rebuilt bridges to those she loved. Her days brighter for it. 2. Ignoring personal hygiene and appearance. In her teaching days, Eleanor was a vision of care. Crisp blouses in soft pastels, a silk scarf knotted just so, a spritz of gardenia perfume that trailed her like a signature. She loved the ritual of getting ready, each step a nod to her confidence, a way to greet the world with pride. Students would compliment her earrings, parents noted her polish at conferences. But after retiring to Asheville, the spark dimmed. Mornings felt sluggish. Why dress up for the grocery store or a walk downtown? She skipped salon visits, her bob growing shaggy. Baggy sweats replaced tailored slacks. House slippers became her go-to, even for errands. "I'm not out to impress anyone," she told herself, lingering in pajamas all day. The mirror a stranger. At first, it felt like freedom. No more fuss, no more expectations. But Eleanor began to notice a shift, subtle yet stinging. Strangers who once smiled at her vibrant outfits now passed without a glance, their eyes sliding over her like she was invisible. Friends invited her to fewer lunches, their calls to meet at Biltmore Village's cafes growing rare. At a family barbecue, Rachel pulled her aside, concern in her voice. "Mom, you don't seem yourself." Looking at old photos, her beaming in a sundress at a school picnic, Eleanor barely recognized the woman she'd been. The change wasn't just external. She felt smaller, less alive, as if her spirit had frayed along with her wardrobe. Personal appearance isn't about vanity. It's about self-respect, a signal to yourself and others that you matter. Neglecting it dims your inner light, whispering you've given up. Eleanor saw it in her friend Clara, 74, who'd let her once tidy look slide, her laughter quieter, her presence withdrawn. Determined to reclaim her vibrancy, Eleanor started small. She showered daily, savoring the warm water's comfort. She brushed her hair, letting its silver catch the light. She wore her favorite blue sweater, its softness a hug, and added earrings for book club Zoom calls. Lipstick became a ritual, a pop of coral that lifted her mood. These weren't attempts to chase youth. They were about honoring the woman she was, still curious, still worthy. A 2019 AARP survey found 65% of seniors feel more confident maintaining their appearance, and Eleanor understood why. At the farmer's market, a vendor grinned. "You're looking bright today." Friends commented on her glow, their invitations returning. Lunch at Tupelo Honey, a stroll by the French Broad River. Strangers held doors, their smiles meeting hers. Most importantly, Eleanor felt like herself again, seen, present, alive. By showing up for herself, she invited the world back in, her confidence a beacon that warmed her days. 3. Becoming stubborn and resistant to change. Eleanor had always been decisive, her classroom a model of order, books shelved, lessons planned, rules clear. She knew what worked, and that certainty carried into retirement. When Rachel and Ethan switched to texting over calling, she bristled. "If they want me, they can dial," she'd say, waving off their offers to teach her. Streaming services? Unnecessary. Her old TV and radio sufficed. Apps for grocery delivery or ride-sharing. "I've managed without them for decades," she'd scoff, her routines a fortress. Stubbornness felt like strength, a stand against a world changing too fast. But it came at a cost. Family calls dwindled, group chats buzzed with photos of Ethan's soccer games or Rachel's promotion. Updates Eleanor missed. At a cousin's wedding, she overheard relatives sharing stories via an app she'd ignored, feeling like an outsider in her own family. Her fortress was a cage, locking her out of connection. Change is relentless. Technology, social norms, family rhythms evolve. Resisting doesn't halt it, it isolates. Eleanor saw it in her neighbor Tom, 76, who refused to learn email and lost touch with college buddies, his evenings lonelier. She didn't want that path. One rainy afternoon, Ethan offered again, "Grandma, let me show you texting." Swallowing pride, she nodded. His patience surprised her. Tapping out a smiley face felt like a small victory. Emojis were fun, like secret codes. Soon, she was getting daily photos, her great-granddaughter's finger paintings, Rachel's garden blooms. She laughed at Ethan's memes, her replies clumsy but earnest. Learning wasn't about mastering tech, it was about staying close. A 2021 Gallup poll found 60% of seniors who adopt new skills report stronger family ties. Eleanor felt it. Texts became threads of love, weaving her back into daily life. She tried streaming, giggling through a sitcom Ethan suggested. At the library, she joined a tablet workshop, her questions met with kindness. Each yes to change widened her world, her stubbornness softening into curiosity, her connections deeper for it. 4. Hoarding and refusing to let go of clutter. Eleanor's bungalow was a scrapbook of her life. Birthday cards from Rachel's childhood, lesson plans from her teaching years, sweaters unworn since the 90s. Each item held a memory, a field trip, a holiday, a moment she couldn't release. "I might need it," she'd say, stacking newspapers she'd never reread, boxing knickknacks from long-ago trips. Her home, once a cozy retreat with hardwood floors and mountain views, became a labyrinth. Shelves groaning, closets stuffed, every corner a testament to just in case. At first it felt sentimental, a way to hold time still, but the clutter grew oppressive. Cleaning drained her. Finding her glasses took hours. She stopped hosting book club, ashamed of the chaos. Rachel visited less, navigating piles with a frown. "Mom, maybe let some stuff go," she suggested. Eleanor snapped, "It's my history." But deep down, she knew the mess wasn't just physical, it was emotional weight, tethering her to a past that blocked the present. Hoarding steals more than space, it robs peace. A 2018 CDC report warns clutter raises fall risks for seniors, alongside mental strain. Eleanor saw it in her friend Martha, 73, whose packed home became a hazard, her spirit dimmed. Vowing change, Eleanor started small, one drawer asking, "Do I use this? Does it spark joy?" Old clothes went to a women's shelter, magazines to a library. She kept treasures, a locket from her mother, Ethan's first drawing, but let go of duplicates, like 10 vases from forgotten gifts. The process was emotional, each item a goodbye. But as her home breathed again, so did she. Floors gleamed, sunlight poured in. She hosted Rachel for dinner, proud of her tidy table. A 2019 AARP study found 60% of seniors feel freer post-declutter. Eleanor's bungalow became a sanctuary, not a museum, her heart lighter as she lived for today, not yesterday's ghosts. 5. losing patience with others. Too quickly, Eleanor had always been patient, guiding kids through fractions, soothing parents' worries, but aging brought irritations. One afternoon at Ingles, the young cashier bagged her groceries slowly, fumbling with cans. Frustration surged. "Can you speed up?" she barked. His face fell, hands shaking. Guilt hit instantly. She saw her old self, the teacher who'd encourage, not scold. Was she becoming sharp-edged, the kind of person she'd once pitied? Life's pace shifts with age. Your steps slow, the world races. Impatience creeps in, fueled by discomfort or fatigue, but it sours moments, raising stress and pushing people away. Eleanor noticed her snappy tone, with waiters, drivers, left her feeling hollow. A 2020 NIH study links impatience to higher cortisol in seniors, harming health and bonds. She saw it in her cousin Ed, 75, whose gruffness alienated family. Determined to soften, Eleanor practiced pausing. Feeling irritation, she breathed deeply, asking, "Is this worth it?" She pictured the cashier as a student, nervous but trying. Next trip, she smiled at a slow clerk. "No rush, you're doing great." His gratitude eased her own tension. At a cafe, she thanked a frazzled server, their chat lifting both spirits. Patience wasn't just kindness, it was freedom, lowering her stress, warming her interactions. Her days felt lighter, her heart steadier, proof that grace is a gift you give yourself. 6. Over-talking and not listening. Eleanor was a born storyteller. Classroom tales, family lore, her voice a bridge across generations. Sunday dinners hummed with her anecdotes, from mischievous students to her dad's fishing trips. But lately, conversations faltered. Rachel called less, admitting, "Mom, I don't feel heard. It's all you." Stunned, Eleanor saw she'd been steamrolling talks, diving into stories or advice without pause, eager to share but forgetting to receive. Over-talking drowns connection. Seniors rich with experience can lean too hard into sharing, sidelining others. Eleanor saw it in her friend George, 75, whose endless tales left book clubs silent. She didn't want that mark. She started balancing. Speak, then stop. "How's your day?" she'd ask Rachel, waiting. Open-ended questions helped. "What's new at work?" Resisting interruptions, she gave space, even when a story burned to be told. The change was magic. Rachel opened up about stress, dreams. Their calls stretched warm and long. Ethan shared gaming wins, sensing her ear. A 2019 Harvard study says active listening builds stronger bonds. Eleanor found listening wasn't passive, it was love, a thread pulling her closer to those she cherished. Her home echoed with shared stories, not just hers, a symphony of connection reborn. 7. Pushing people away instead of asking for help. Eleanor's independence was her pride. Solo parenting Rachel, managing classrooms, fixing her own leaks. But aging tested it. One spring, struggling with a heavy mulch bag in her garden, a neighbor offered, "Need help?" She forced a smile. "I'm fine." Hauling it alone, her back twinged, and loneliness stung sharper than pain. She'd rejected kindness, and with it, connection. Refusing help wasn't strength, it built walls. A 2021 AIRP study found 55% of seniors who shun aid feel lonelier. Eleanor saw it in her brother Jim, 78, who pushed family away, his isolation palpable. She vowed to shift. Next time, when a teen offered to carry groceries, she said, "Thanks, I'd appreciate it." Their chat about his band practice warmed her. At church, she let a friend drive her home, their laughter filling the car. Accepting help weaves bonds. It's not weakness, it's trust, inviting others in. Eleanor felt seen, her independence softer, shared. She asked Rachel for garden tips. They're planning a new joy. Each yes to help was a step toward love, her world richer for it. 8. Being too frugal to enjoy life. Eleanor mastered frugality. Coupons clipped, vacations skipped, every dime weighed. Her savings were a fortress, built against what-ifs. When Susan invited her to a Savannah getaway, she balked. Hotels, restaurants, gas, it all screamed waste. "I can't afford it," she said, though her bank account was solid. Alone that night, she wondered, what's this money for? Frugality secures, but joy sustains. A 2018 Stanford study says experiences, trips, meals, yield deeper happiness than things. Susan glowed from concerts, her stories vivid, while Eleanor's thrift felt hollow. She tried a new tack, $50 monthly for fun. A cafe scone, a local play, a bouquet from the market, small delights that sparked life. When Susan asked again, Eleanor said yes. Savannah was a revelation. Shrimp and grits, river walks, ghost stories under Spanish moss. She laughed freer than in years, her thrift not broken but balanced. Back home, she hosted a potluck, her table alive with chatter. Money serves joy, not fear. She learned it late, but fully, her days richer for every shared moment. 9. Talking down to younger generations. Eleanor treasured Ethan, his soccer games, his quirky humor. But lately he seemed distant, his visits brief. One day he gushed about a gaming app. She sighed. "We didn't need screens in my day. Kids played outside." Ethan's face closed. He left early, mumbling about homework. Regret hit. She dimmed his light. Nostalgia's warm, but dismissing youth builds divides. A 2020 Pew survey says 60% of teens crave respect from elders. Eleanor saw Ethan withdrawing and knew she'd erred. Next time she tried, "Tell me about that game." His passion spilled. Friends online, epic battles. She asked to play. Her fumbles drew his cheers. Their bond tightened, rooted in curiosity. She joined Ethan at a school tech fair, marveling at his coding project. Understanding replaced judgment, her home alive with his stories. Every generation navigates its world. Listening, not lecturing, connects us. Eleanor's love grew, a bridge across ages, strong and sure. 10th, holding on to grudges and regrets. Eleanor carried old scars, a friend's betrayal, a sibling's spat decades old. She'd replay them, anger flaring like a match. It felt righteous, but it darkened her days. Rachel sensed her tension. Friends avoided her edge. Grudges weren't power. They were chains, stealing peace. Bitterness harms more than mood. A 2019 NIH study ties grudges to hypertension, poor sleep. Eleanor saw it in her cousin Anne, 77, whose resentment isolated her. Seeking freedom, Eleanor tried forgiveness, for herself, not others. She wrote a letter, spilling every hurt, then burned it in her backyard, embers rising like released burdens. Focusing on now, Ethan's grin, Susan's puns, lightened her. Sleep came easier, her laugh fuller. Forgiveness was courage, reclaiming her heart. Her home shed its shadows, love flowing freely, unblocked by yesterday's pain. 11. Ignoring health problems. Eleanor dismissed small signs, dizziness, tiredness, as just age. One evening, she tripped on her porch steps, ankle throbbing. At urgent care, doctors found untreated low blood pressure, a warning ignored too long. Denial risked more than a fall. It courted crisis. Seniors often skip checkups, fearing truth. A 2021 CDC report says 40% delay care, worsening health. Eleanor learned her lesson. She drank water, walked daily, booked doctor visits. Yoga classes built balance, her energy surging. Caring for herself wasn't loss. It was strength, ensuring years of vitality. Hiking with Rachel, she felt alive, not frail. Health's a gift, not a chore. Eleanor's scare taught her to listen to her body, her days full of possibility, not fear. 12. Forgetting to seek joy and laughter. In her album, Eleanor saw herself dancing at barbecues, joking with students. Somewhere, joy faded. Routine dulled her spark. Susan's movie night invite tempted her, but fatigue whispered no. She went anyway, a comedy sparking laughter till her sides ached. Tears streamed, not from pain but delight. She felt young, whole. Joy's a choice, not chance. A 2020 Harvard study says laughter cuts stress, boosts immunity. Eleanor sought it, Motown dance parties in her kitchen, trivia nights at the brewery. Ethan's visits grew lively, their giggles a duet. Joy was medicine, keeping her open, connected. She joined a local improv class. Her shy tries met with cheers. Her bungalow rang with laughter, a haven of light. Seeking joy wasn't frivolous. It was life, reminding her to live fully, every day a chance to smile. Aging with grace and connection. Eleanor Mitchell's story mirrors millions across America, seniors navigating aging's hidden traps. Her Asheville home hums, photos gleaming, coffee brewing, Ethan's voice echoing. She shed negativity, clutter, fear, embracing curiosity, health, joy. Aging isn't fading, it's choosing, not pleasing all but loving deeply. Eleanor strolls Asheville's streets, mountains steady, knowing she's enough. Her story unfolds nationwide, Charleston to Portland. At 70, you've earned a life vibrant with purpose, rich with love. Eleanor lives it, her days aglow with connection, a quiet revolution, yours to claim. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like and share with your friends. Your support keeps these stories alive. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a new episode. And if today's story touched your heart, leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Take care, stay well, and see you in the next story.